The Silk Road was never one road. It was a dangerous web of corridors where silk, horses, faith, money, disease, and rumor changed whole civilizations. Its name makes silk sound like the only treasure, but the real story is bigger. High-value goods moved with languages, rituals, technologies, and political ambitions. The route system joined East Asia, Central Asia, South Asia, Iran, the Near East, and the Mediterranean through many hands, not through one heroic merchant. By the 2nd century BCE, Han imperial expansion and diplomacy helped increase long-distance exchange. The story often begins with Zhang Qian's mission west. Zhang Qian did not discover an empty world. He entered landscapes already shaped by nomads, oasis cities, Iranian-speaking traders, Greek-influenced kingdoms, and older routes. The Han court wanted horses as much as silk customers. Powerful Fergana horses became part of the military imagination that pulled China toward Central Asia. Chang'an, near modern Xi'an, was one eastern anchor. From there, routes moved through passes, garrisons, river valleys, and the long corridor toward Dunhuang. Dunhuang mattered because geography tightened there. Travelers approaching the Gobi, the Taklamakan, and the Heshi corridor needed water, protection, and information. The famous Jade Gate was not a romantic doorway into mystery. It was a frontier zone where tax, military watch, and survival met the desert. The Taklamakan Desert forced choices. Travelers skirted its edges through oasis towns because the center could kill a caravan that misread water and distance. An oasis was not just a rest stop. It was a living machine of wells, fields, walls, shrines, languages, markets, and debt. Water management made the road possible. Canals, wells, rivers, and underground channels supported towns that could feed travelers and animals. Caravanserai were the architecture of movement. Behind walls, traders could sleep, bargain, repair packs, exchange news, and measure risk. No single caravan crossed the whole world. Goods often moved in stages, rising in price each time they passed through another broker, city, or political border. Sogdian merchants became some of the great connectors. Their networks linked Central Asian cities with China, India, Iran, and steppe societies. Their strength was not just travel, it was trust across distance, family links, letters, credit, language skills, and the ability to survive many courts. Silk was light, valuable, and desirable. That made it perfect for long-distance exchange where transport was expensive and every animal had a limit. But silk traveled with glass, metalwork, paper, horses, jade, spices, medicines, wool, furs, ceramics, and sometimes people taken by war or debt. Rome wanted silk so badly that writers complained about luxury and silver flowing east. The complaint tells us as much about Roman anxiety as about Chinese cloth. The popular myth imagines direct China to Rome trade. The evidence points more often to relay systems, frontier markets, and intermediaries who rarely saw the whole chain. Political power shaped every mile. Empires protected routes when trade helped them, taxed routes when they could, and fought over corridors when control became profitable. Nomads were not background scenery. Steppe groups supplied horses, guarded roads, raided roads, guided travelers, and negotiated with settled powers. This interdependence is one reason the road survived. Farmers, herders, monks, soldiers, merchants, translators, innkeepers, and officials all needed parts of the same system. Buddhism moved along these corridors with monks, texts, images, donors, and caves carved into cliff faces near routes of travel. The Mogeo caves near Dunhuang preserve this better than any empty phrase about cultural exchange. Images, manuscripts, and patrons turned movement into paint and stone. Other religions traveled too. Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, Nestorian Christianity, Islam, and local cults crossed paths in cities where trade made difference normal. Languages layered over one another. Chinese, Sogdian, Sanskrit, Persian, Turkic, Tibetan, Arabic, and Greek traditions all left traces in documents and art. The road also carried technology, paper, printing habits, metallurgical ideas, irrigation knowledge, and artistic styles moved unevenly through practical contact. Art changed as forms crossed borders. A halo, a vine scroll, a guardian figure, or a robe pattern could be translated from one world into another. The route was never safe in a simple way. Bandits, storms, thirst, snow passes, disease, debt, and politics could ruin a journey before profit appeared. Disease is part of the darker story. Long-distance networks that moved goods and people could also help epidemics move across regions. That does not mean every plague can be blamed on the Silk Road. It means exchange networks created conditions where pathogens could travel farther than local life. The Tang period made the eastern end especially cosmopolitan. Chang'an held foreign merchants, envoys, monks, performers, and goods that made empire feel worldly. Central Asian cities were not passive stops. Samarkand, Bokhara, Turfan, Merv, and others shaped taste, finance, religion, and politics along the routes. Coins reveal contact in a compact form. Their metals, portraits, inscriptions, and circulation patterns help historians trace power and movement. Textiles reveal contact too. A pattern woven in one place might imitate another court, another religion, or another buyer's idea of prestige. The so-called road had sea partners. Indian Ocean routes carried silk, spices, ceramics, and ideas through ports when ships made more sense than camels. This matters because trade was adaptive. If war closed one corridor, merchants looked for another pass, another city, another sea lane, or another patron. The Mongol period later changed the scale of movement. Under the Pax Mongolica, routes across Eurasia became more connected for merchants, envoys, and travelers. Marco Polo belongs here, but not as the whole story. His account became famous in Europe because it made Asian wealth and distance narratable. The danger is letting one traveler replace millions of unnamed people. Porters, animal handlers, translators, cooks, guards, farmers, and women in market households kept exchange alive. The road's decline was not a switch turning off. Sea routes grew, empires shifted, taxes changed, wars moved, and some overland corridors stayed useful. Modern maps often draw one clean line. That line is useful for memory, but it hides the messy truth of branches, detours, local markets, and seasonal movement. The strongest evidence is not one artifact. It is the pattern formed by towns, caves, coins, textiles, irrigation, forts, documents, and roads seen together. The popular version says the Silk Road connected east and west. The better version says it created many centers, each changing the others without becoming the same. The road was really a chain of exchanges. Most goods did not travel in one heroic caravan from end to end. They passed through hands, languages, markets, animals, taxes, and local risks across many linked regions. That is why the Silk Road still has power. It is not a tale of one road, but a map of how humans turn risk into connection. That matters because the Silk Road was not only silk, paper, horses, glass, Buddhism, metalwork, diseases, stories, and diplomatic habits moved through the same corridors. Its power came from connection, not from a single path. If Lore Atlas follows this road again, should we trace the Sogdian merchants, the Dunhuang caves, the sea routes, or the diseases that traveled with trade? The popular map often draws one clean line, but the historical network was messier and more interesting. Deserts, oasis towns, steppe routes, mountain passes, sea links, and communities that survived by managing movement.